This is Sky News Today with Wilfred Frost. It's 10 o'clock. Your headlines.
Oh my gosh!
Emergency in Hawaii. At least 36 people killed as wildfires rip through homes, forcing terrified residents to flee into the sea. NHS pressures. Patient numbers waiting for routine treatments hit a record high ahead of another junior doctor's strike this weekend. Mortgage cuts. The UK's biggest lender adds its name to the list of banks reducing rates. Data breach meeting. Northern Ireland's chief constable to be questioned by politicians over the force's major security failing. Targeted and killed. An anti-corruption presidential candidate in Ecuador is shot dead at a campaign rally. And the pensioner and the prize winners preparing for liftoff. These space tourists set to make history on a commercial flight to the stars. A very good morning to you. At least 36 people have been killed as a state of emergency is declared across Hawaii. Wildfires ripped through homes, forcing some terrified residents to flee into the sea. And let's just show you a location of what's been going on. Well, Hawaii, of course, lies around 2,000 miles off the west coast of America and is made up of 8 main islands. Maui has been the worst affected so far by the flames, which are focused mainly around the towns of Lahaina and Kahului. Our US correspondent Martha Kellner has travelled to Hawaii and sent this report.
Oh my gosh, look at the harbor.
From above, the scale of the devastation is clear.
Oh my gosh!
Helicopter pilot Richie Alston has never seen anything like it. He usually brings holidaymakers up here to witness the natural beauty of Maui. Now he's documenting a disaster.
That whole area you're looking at right now is just leveled to the ground. And all the resort shops and businesses there are all gone. So not only are the people homeless, they're the places that they worked at no longer exist. It's just been absolutely devastating. In my 52 years of flying on Maui, I've never seen anything even close to this in my entire life.
Wildfires fanned by Category 4 Hurricane Dora have spread across Hawaii's Big Island and the western part of Maui. This tourist destination is home to more than 160,000 people. In the main town of Lahaina, this is the picture from the high street. Structures levelled, homes destroyed, and a population evacuated.
It's a very, very sad day in Hawaii. It's devastating, and I know many families on Maui are struggling right now, as well as many family members across the state. So we want to send our heartfelt aloha to them and our prayers to them.
Fast-moving, unpredictable flames have consumed hundreds of acres here, and this is what they've left behind. People have had to jump into the ocean to escape the fire. Others could find no way out. The evacuation and rescue efforts have been hampered by damage to communications. Mobile phone towers have been brought down by the fire. The 911 service is disconnected across a wide area. Residents have complained that they weren't notified in advance of the spread of the fire. There are reports of people running down streets, screaming, as they were caught close to the blaze. The main airport on the island of Maui remains open. It's now doubling as a shelter for 2,000 people evacuated from their homes. The hurricane winds fanning these flames have combined with recent near-drought conditions in parts of Hawaii, enabling these fires to accelerate. Casualties, including burn victims, have been flown to nearby Honolulu. It is a deteriorating situation that remains dangerous. Martha Kellner, Sky News, Hawaii.
And Martha sent us this update from Honolulu.
It is a dire situation on Maui, and we've had that update, of course, that 36 people have been found to have died as a result of the wildfires, and very sadly that death toll is likely to rise. We'll get a clearer picture of the number of fatalities and indeed the extent of the damage when each individual county, so each individual area of Maui, comes forward with their report of how badly their community has been affected, and we're expecting those details tomorrow morning. But it's clear from the pictures that we've seen from Maui just how badly damaged some parts of the island are. Some areas completely levelled, Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke saying the western part of Maui will take years to recover. She listed some of the buildings that had been lost: schools, churches, many businesses. Lahaina is the worst affected town, it seems, and it is known for being a tourist hotspot, but it's not just a tourist town. 9,000 people live and work there, and it also has huge historic significance to Hawaii. It's the former royal capital, and 3 museums have also been lost in these wildfires. Some good news, if you can call it that, in that these wildfires do seem to largely have been contained, with the occasional outbreak, and there's the hope that because the stronger winds from Hurricane Dora have passed now, the hope that they can keep those fires, those flames under control. Thousands of people have been evacuated, so the primary concern is providing them with shelter, food and water. The authorities on Maui also urging tourists to get off the island if they can. Many hundreds are spending the night at the airport there, awaiting flights out of Maui tomorrow morning. The cause of the fires hasn't yet been established. For now, the focus is on the search and rescue operation and indeed the recovery operation, but a picture of utter devastation emerging from Maui.
Martha Kellner there for us. Right, still to come here on Sky News. Is it the end for Wilco? Sky does learn that hopes for a rescue deal are fading. We'll have the details for you. A beef Wellington gone wrong in Australia. The story of the mysterious deaths of 3 people after a home-cooked meal. And as a pensioner plus a mother and daughter duo prepare to become space tourists, we take a look ahead to this afternoon's big launch stateside. Now, patients waiting for routine NHS treatment has hit a record high just ahead of another junior doctors' strike this weekend. Well, the latest figures from NHS England show an estimated 7.6 million people were waiting to start treatment at the end of June, the highest number since records began in August 2007. That figure is up from 7.5 million in May. And the NHS is also set for its busiest summer ever, as emergency departments had 4.42 million patients in June and July. Well, our health correspondent, Ashish Joshi, joins us now live from Coventry Hospital. And Ashish, I guess talk us through the scale of these numbers relative to expectation. I don't think anyone was expecting a perfect report at this point.
No, they weren't certainly expecting the numbers to fall significantly, but this is one of the Prime Minister's key pledges, is to reduce NHS waiting times. And when you look at the context, Wolf, what's happening here is you have demand increasing, the NHS saying that this has been the busiest time ever for the summer months for A&E, attendances, ambulance call-outs. So we have demand rising through the summer months, and then you have to factor in the industrial action that's been taken by not only junior doctors but by consultants as well. Now, that is always going to have an impact. The last few days of junior doctors' industrial action, 110,000 appointments had to be cancelled, bringing the number up to nearly 800,000 since industrial action began, and that was in December last year. We had the nurses at the beginning, and we've had the various specialty professions also taking industrial action, and then the nurses, that was resolved, and now the junior doctors and the consultants. So every time there's industrial action, the routine appointments, the elective surgery lists will rise because the hospital can't accommodate elective patients and carry on functioning as a normal hospital. So it is a mixed bag. There have been some gains, and the NHS will point to these gains and say that despite these challenges, we are still managing to bring some of those waiting lists down, not the overall number of 7.6 million. But if you look at the 18-month wait, that's a key target for the NHS. That's been reduced from 11,446 in May to 7,177 in June, but it was over 50,000 as recently as December. So they have made good progress on that. But there, the caveat is they were meant to be eliminated by April. and a total of 383,000 people in England have been waiting more than 52 weeks. Another key target for the NHS to start routine hospital treatment at the end of June. Now, this again is down slightly from 385,000 at the end of May. So the NHS and the government will point to these waiting lists and say, we're making progress, significant progress in some areas, despite the challenges of these industrial action impacting on that bigger number, the 7.6 million people who are still waiting for elective treatment. Remember, Rishi Sunak has made this a key pledge and a key part of his outline for the NHS and for the country to bring this waiting list down. But he says because of this industrial action, he simply can't do it. So they need to resolve these strikes first.
Ashish, thanks so much. By the way, if you scan the QR code on your screen right now, you'll be taken to our NHS tracker on the Sky News website. Just enter your postcode and you'll see how your local NHS trust is performing. The UK's biggest mortgage lender, Halifax, is set to cut rates in a move that sees it follow other major banks in starting to reduce the pressure on homeowners. From tomorrow, Halifax will reduce rates by up to 0.71 percentage points. That means a 5-year fixed deal will stand at 5.39%, down from 6.1% at its peak, not in the latest move. The move follows HSBC announcing it will cut rates by as much as 0.2%. Nationwide, which is the UK's second biggest mortgage lender, reduced prices on some fixed products by up to 0.55% yesterday as well. Well, our political correspondent Amanda Acash joins us live now. And Amanda, this is an important continuation of an existing theme, given that Halifax is the biggest lender, that has been going on now for the last couple of weeks, clearly after the Bank of England meeting last week, but also just before that, and it all kind of centres around what expectations are for the Bank of England's rate going forward from here over the next couple of years.
Yes, indeed, and the broader picture around inflation as well. This really will come as some relief to people who are having to remortgage because they've come to an end of a fixed rate deal, or first-time buyers trying to get on the ladder. The headline reduction is this 0.71 percentage point fall for 5-year fixed rate deals, but there are also cuts for shorter-term deals, 2-year fixed-term rates down by 0.27% as well. And it follows, as you say, similar decisions by other big names, HSBC, Lloyds TSB, Nationwide, as well as smaller building societies as well. Now, mortgage rates, of course, have been rising rapidly over the past few months, a 15-year high, and that follows these 14 months of consecutive interest rate raises by the Bank of England, now 5.25% from last week. The Governor of the Bank of England warning they're likely to stay high for some time until he can see real evidence that prices are beginning to come down. Having said that, the latest rate of inflation has fallen to 7.9%, giving real optimism to some that perhaps the trajectory is changing. And I think what we're seeing here, according to experts, really is evidence that the mortgage companies are feeling fairly optimistic that inflation is beginning to come line, and also a market realisation that, frankly, things have slowed down so much because people haven't been able to afford mortgages. They're having to cut the rates to try and attract some more customers back. A survey by the Royal College of Chartered Surveyors out today suggests that the number of inquiries by buyers are down by 45%. That house prices have seen the most widespread falls since 2009. So clearly the market really has been suffering. Mortgage companies hoping that this will help provide a bit of impetus. Rates still are, though, pretty high fundamentally. It's a big shock if you're coming to the end of a fixed rate mortgage. And for the government, that is a real worry, because more and more households over the next year or so are going to be coming to the end of those deals, facing that hike as they negotiate a new deal with their mortgage providers. There's an election coming up next year, and the government really are resting their hopes on inflation coming down and interest rates being able to come down too.
Amanda, thanks so much for that. Amanda Acash for us. Worth mentioning as well that survey from the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors, or RICS, that Amanda mentioned there, did have some less good forecasts, but for renters, saying that they expected the renting market to continue to be imbalanced between supply and demand, and for rents to continue to rise. Of course, also just worth mentioning that the Bank of England base rate, which went up last week from 5 to 5.25%, is now expected to peak at a lower rate by the market. Previously expected that there would be at least 2 more 25 basis point hikes. Now the market expecting more like 1 more, taking the terminal rate, the peak of the rate, to more like 5.5% when previously was expected to go higher. Now, the Chief Constable of Northern Ireland's Police Service will face questions this morning from politicians in an emergency meeting over the force's data security breach. The PSNI apologised on Tuesday after the private details of some 10,000 staff and officers were made public following a human error. Last night it emerged the force is also investigating a second data breach relating to documents and a laptop stolen from a private vehicle on the 6th of July. Well, now, after cutting his summer holiday short, the Chief Constable Simon Byrne is fighting for his position as he faces Northern Ireland's policing board. Well, earlier, the Democratic Unionist MP, Sammy Wilson, told us where the blame should lie.
Of course, the buck stops with the person who heads that organisation. He may not be dealing with the day-to-day operational issues, but nevertheless, he is the one who sets the policy and should ensure that that policy is carried out. And if it's not carried out, and especially in a case like this, where thousands of police officers are now worried, has my information fallen into the wrong hands? Is it possible that they can now use that information against me? I think the Chief Constable has to ask himself, what role do I play in all of this? And is my position sustainable?
Well, our correspondent Matthew Thompson's in Belfast, where the meeting is set to take place. It's really interesting, this story, Matthew, because, of course, the shock of the scale of this leak and how significant it could be doesn't go away. But in terms of who's to blame, and in particular Mr. Byrne and whether he's to blame, it does come down to human error as opposed to perhaps a culture that he oversaw that was to blame.
That is certainly true. I mean, ultimately, it sounds as though what's happened is a junior member of staff working in the FOI department has inadvertently sent out this highly sensitive information in response to a routine freedom of information request. So in that sense, yes, it is human error. But the question that lots of people are asking here today, and that will certainly be being asked at the policing board emergency meeting that's happening right at the moment in the building behind me, is why were there not safeguards in place to prevent this kind of data being inadvertently released? This is highly sensitive information that puts the lives potentially of serving officers and staff at risk. Why wasn't it surrounded by a firewall that prevented this kind of thing from happening? And who was responsible for setting those policies in place? And ultimately, is that something that the Chief Constable Simon Byrne might be responsible for? So those are certainly questions that will be asked today. We've just seen the various members of the board file in this morning. I asked a few of them whether they felt that the Chief Constable should resign. Most of them were remaining tight-lipped, but at least one member did say to me, that's exactly what we're here to discuss. So it's certainly something that is on the agenda. One of the other things, I spoke to another member of the board last night, and one of the things they told me they really wanted urgent answers to is, what is the extent to which there are realistic threats, incredible threats, against many of the people who had their data released? So he understood, this person that I spoke to last night, that what had been put in place by the PSNI was some kind of triage system where the most vulnerable people to threats were being prioritised. So in a rough order, that would be members of the police who work for the security services or undercover in various other ways. Then also, interestingly, anybody who has a unusual surname that might be more easily identified in this data leak. And then finally, a third category of largely nationalist Catholic officers, many of whom don't even tell their friends and family that they are working in the police for a living. So several questions need answered. What happened? How was it allowed to happen? Who was ultimately responsible for that? And then also, what threat is in place against officers and what measures are being taken to mitigate those potential threats?
Matthew Thompson, thanks so much for that. We will be discussing it with a cybersecurity expert at the bottom half of the hour. Right, some of today's other stories now. Hopes of a rescue deal for Wilko are fading, with the homewares retailer likely to head into insolvency within hours. Our city editor, Mark Kleinman, has learned that the company's board is expected to appoint PricewaterhouseCoopers as administrator later today, after talks with various potential rescuers stalled. Up to 12,000 jobs could be at risk, making the family-owned chain one of the biggest retail casualties for years. The FBI have shot and killed a man suspected of making threats against US President Joe Biden. Agents say they were carrying out a search warrant on the home of Craig Robertson in Utah when the incident happened. The Home Secretary has said the UK cannot allow what she describes as the lawlessness seen in some American cities following disorder on Oxford Street in central London last night. Suella Braverman called for those responsible to be hunted down and locked up. 9 people were arrested and dozens of dispersal orders were issued after hundreds of people gathered after a social media post appeared to encourage a mass robbery. And police believe that a fire which burnt down a historic West Midlands pub was started on purpose. More than 30 firefighters tackled the flames at the Crooked House pub in Dudley last Saturday. The 18th century landmark was demolished a few days later in a move which was criticised by Staffordshire Council, who said it was done without permission. Now, warning, this next story contains pictures that some might find disturbing, as a candidate in Ecuador's presidential election has been shot dead. These pictures show the moments when Fernando Villavicencio's final rally descended into chaos. His assassination was followed by a shootout in which a gunman was killed. The country's current president, Guillermo Lasso, claims organised crime was behind the killing and promised it will not go unpunished. Well, our correspondent Emma Birchley is here with me to discuss this. So, Emma, extraordinary story and really shocking pictures that match the story itself. Just talk us through the candidate he was, what he stood for, and where we were in the electoral process.
Yeah, Fernando Villavicencio was all about being bold when it came to corruption, the drug cartels, which had such a hold over Ecuador. And actually, at this rally, this was a speech where he said that he was determined to root out corruption, that he would lock up the country's thieves. And of course, that brings risks. It brings death threats. He'd received a number of those. And he'd responded to that by saying that he wasn't scared. He was prepared to show his face. But we know now that it was as he was leaving the political rally in the capital, Quito, he'd been flanked by his guards. He was ushered into a vehicle. It was then that he was shot. There were screams. You can imagine just how terrifying that would have been. 30 shots rang out. Now, the suspected gunman was arrested and actually died in custody from his wounds. The president, Guillermo Lasso, has blamed organised crime. He said those responsible will feel the full weight of the law. And just to give you a bit of background, I mean, this is a country that's really struggling with gang-related violence, a lot of it wrapped up in the drug wars. And just 2 weeks ago, the president had declared a state of emergency in 2 provinces and in the prison system to try and stem this violence. Well, now that state of emergency has been spread to the whole of the nation, and that's a nation in 3 days of mourning.
Emma Birchley, extraordinary story. Thanks so much. You're watching Sky News Today with Wilfred Frost. Well, still to come, the Lionesses gear up to play Colombia on Saturday in their quarter-final of the World Cup. We'll bring you the latest from this morning's press conference.
I'm David Blevins and I'm Sky's senior Ireland correspondent. I'm based in Belfast, a city transformed by peace, but still struggling with its past. Politically, the two sides are as far apart as ever, and it's over that question of who has sovereignty in Northern Ireland, the very issue that's been the source of tension here for generations.
It takes 60 minutes to cross the Irish Sea. It took the British monarchy a century.
I've spent 25 years reporting the journey from conflict to peace.
The political parties of Northern Ireland have reached agreement.
We help you understand the world with us.
Today, we have reached an agreement with the Conservative Party on support for government in Parliament.
We already know what the government gets out of this deal. What exactly does the DUP get out of it? Well, £1.5 billion. Welcome to Winterfell. It's an iconic location in this globally acclaimed drama. Ophelia was the most powerful hurricane this far east in the Atlantic on record. You can't live in a place like this and not appreciate the environment.
Welcome back. The 8 remaining teams are gearing up for the World Cup quarter-finals in Australia, which start in less than 24 hours. England's Lionesses will face Colombia. That's on Saturday morning. Well, let's bring in our sports correspondent, Rob Harris, who's at the England team training camp in Terrigal, Australia. Rob, the excitement over here is building. I'm sure it is over there. What is the latest from the training camp? And, of course, with the news of some high-profile suspensions for this game coming up.
Yes, we do know that Lauren James should be suspended for this game after her sending off for the stamp in the last 16 clash with Nigeria. What we're still waiting to hear from FIFA is just how long that ban could potentially be extended for. We've had the submissions put in by the FA. Lauren James herself has apologised for her actions, which ultimately, of course, England did manage to cope around because they held on with 10 and then won that penalty shootout against Nigeria. We've been hearing from one of the England players today, Bethany England, about that relief, about finding the way to scrape past Nigeria, also about how Lauren James is feeling given this moment. That's obviously, she knows, has proved so costly for the team. The fact that Serena Wiegman will have to juggle the starting lineup now known, she'll have to cope without her. But then, of course, the focus turns to how to reach the World Cup semi-finals, as they did at the 2015 and 2019 editions of the tournament, showing it's something expected of England now. And Bethany England is one of those players who's also seen the rise of the women's game, this huge status and stage that the tournament has here in Australia, as well in New Zealand, the co-host. And really, it's also been a growth in pay and prize money, but still, of course, there isn't prize money parity between this and the men's games. But I had been asking Bethany England about just the pay that at least is being guaranteed to players now through FIFA, and what more needs to be done.
That's just part and parcel of the game. The more the game grows and becomes a bigger, wider spread for the female game, that we deserve to be paid at least a reasonable amount for that. I don't think it's unacceptable to be asking for such thing. But I think, like you say, for countries that, I know, like with Jamaica, they had to set up a GoFundMe to get here, and I think it's sad when we're in this day and age where teams are still having to do that. However, it's also amazing to know that players are going to be able to leave this tournament knowing that they've been left with a good bonus at the end of it.
The England and Colombia players are now guaranteed at least £70,000 each from FIFA for reaching this stage, and that can be more than they earn in a year with their club, so that will reflect in there how transformational that can be, particularly for the Colombia players as well as for the England players too, with so many countries lacking professional leagues. But the focus for England is trying to get even further in this tournament to ensure the World Cup is lifted.
Rob Harris, thanks so much. We're looking forward to that on Saturday. Time though for a look at the weather.
Warm memories wherever you go. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Today looks to be the warmest day since early July, but Atlantic rain will bring cooler conditions for the weekend. Typical. It'll be very warm this afternoon with a high of 29 Celsius, 84 Fahrenheit, possible across the East Midlands or South Yorkshire. Most places look dry with good spells of sunshine, but the far southwest will see rain. That rain will spread across much of Ireland later, perhaps reaching Cornwall, where it'll turn murky. The wind will pick up too. Elsewhere, it'll stay mainly fine, but a few heavy showers will develop, perhaps thundery ones.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
You're watching Sky News. Still to come on the show, Northern Ireland's Chief Constable summoned for questions. Will he survive the fallout of the country's police data breach? We'll discuss next.
SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out.
He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of digging the hole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world in adjustment. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio
Are
UK.
you ready
to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and the Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is
UK.
Starr Radio
UK.
This is Starr Radio
UK.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands. The hand that made me.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth and those of you on other planets as well. I want to salute each and every one of you and welcome you to the Thursday edition of the Morning Show. Today is the 10th day of August, the year 2023, with the time now 10:47 from the heart of London. If you don't know, you know now. I am your one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
But I'm saying good morning to my team this morning, Miss Olayomi, Koiki, and Mr. Francis Guy. Today he was doubling up as my what do you call it? Makeup artist as well. So he was doing good. He was doing good. So if you see my face, you know that he has done all that good job. But I'm saying morning to Felix all the way in Aberdeen. Kojo D, good morning to you. Kofi, good morning. Malik, I hope you are doing very well. My brother Kwame, Charlie, long time no here. I hope you are doing good. Oh, Charlie, animal no here. A bit of Arabic there, right? Okay. Let me say good morning to Bishop Adeshin. Massive good morning to you. Anthony Adeneji, Pastor Mo, Pastor Emmanuel Chidi. To the one and only Olakunle, good morning. Aziz, good morning. Anthony Adeneji, good morning once again. Shamsuddin, good morning to you. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. For those of you who have not listened to us before on a Thursday morning, this is how the program goes on a Thursday. That's the program schedule for you. Now I'm going to bring you the code for the day, the weather forecast will follow too, then the travel update as well. We'll move from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. It's known as Global Trotting. Then after that at 11 o'clock, we have Olayomi Koiki who will be joining in to bring you updates from Nigeria. Interestingly, he will bring you some sneak view of what you missed out on the Niger Voices yesterday. Then after that at 12 o'clock, we'll bring you, we'll open the lines for you to add your voice to the discussions. But before then, if you want to do so, feel free. Just post your comments on any of the platforms that we are broadcasting on. I promise you one thing for sure. I'm going to share it with our lovely listeners. Then exactly at 12:30, the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. So in a gist, that's what's going to be happening today. But wherever you are, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones. Invite them to like our pages as well. I remain yours sincerely once again, Archie. If you are sitting, sit very comfortably. You are standing, hold on to something, get yourself a hot or cold drink, whichever is appropriate, and let's take this journey, the journey to the known, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar. It's making the headlines. I'll bring it to you, I promise you. Holy, holy, God Almighty. Okay, so moving on straight to the weather front, and after the quote for the day, it said, those who learn to endure the discomfort enjoy comfort the most. So when the discomfort is coming, you're going to have your baby. You are in discomfort. Serious one. If you manage to endure that, well, when the baby comes out, my goodness, see the joy that comes in your faces. My, oh my, oh my. The world in your hands. Okay, so let's move on to the weather front. For London and the southeast of England, well, we seem to be experiencing some nice warm weather, but this afternoon it will be rain. It will be warm and dry as well. There will be lengthy sunny spells, but some patchy cloud will develop from the south as the day draws on. Now tonight will be largely clear with a few bands of high cloud at times. However, areas of thick low cloud will push in by dawn. It should remain dry though. Temperature 26 degrees, the lowest is going to be 16 degrees. Pollen level is going to be moderate. UV level high and pollution low. Sunset 2023 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 05:37 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast. It is Starr Radio UK. That's why forever call you great. Let me take you straight to the travel update because we are pressed with time wherever you might be. Now on the underground this morning, the central line, my apologies, the major roads in London, central London red routes have got severe delays, and A23 severe delay, serious delay. So if you can avoid them, do your best to avoid that. Now when it comes to the underground, Bakerloo, Elizabeth line have all got part closures and minor delays respectively. The London Overground has got part closures, London Tramlink part closures. That aside, all the other underground lines are having a very, very good service there. The Riverbanks has got Woolwich Ferry still having planned closures. That aside, all the others good service there. The London Cable Car good service there as well, and that brings us straight to the final segment of the travel update. That is the National Rail. So on the National Rail this morning, Chiltern Railways, Cross Country, Great Northern, Greater Anglia, Southwestern Railway, Southern and Thameslink are all having special services. Also, London North Eastern Railway and Northern Rail are having minor delays. But remember, Gatwick Express has got no service, so if you are thinking of traveling via that route, please be warned. On that note, let me say it as I do. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes where? On the roads.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
Welcome back to the program. Yes, enlighten your day. What is happening from across the globe on Global Trotting this morning at 7 minutes to the top of the hour? Let me tell you what is happening. What is happening? When it comes to Nigeria, some of the stories that we're going to be looking at: Niger coup, Zanusi, Miss Junta leaders, and Bribes Tinubu. What is the outcome of that? We'll be telling you more about that. Yesterday it was discussed on the Niger Voices as well, a detailed discussion there, how people feel about it. Emefiele asked court to stop federal government from further prosecuting him. Why is the federal government prosecuting Emefiele? Is it because he was wielding an unlicensed firearm as is being alleged, or is it because he was doing the bidding of the then president Buhari, and Anna Buhari is nowhere? Now it is time for them to come against him. What do you think about all that? Over 100 illegal refineries destroyed, 200 arrested. That is what is being said. Now, how, where, when? But we'll talk about that. In a country where crude oil is, is it the 6th largest crude oil production country in the world, yet we ran out of fuel. So if individuals think that, well, we could do something about it, we could somehow create small oil refineries. Well, you have to make sure that you give them the licenses and make sure that whatever they are doing is worthwhile, and maybe make sure that they get the crude oil the legal way, and that'll be good. But what do you think? Niger, UN, AU, ECOWAS meet on next move. That's what Nasir wants federal government. And so more going to be coming your way from Nigeria. Now in other parts of Africa as well, former Nigerian Emir of Kano meets the pushers. Now, you know, I found out what the pushers is: people who are trying to overthrow a government. They have overthrown the government already, so I don't call them pushers. They've done what they had to do. Now Mnangagwa says Zimbabwe will be lost if he is not re-elected. Is it Trump? Again, are they looking at what the West is doing to Zimbabwe, or the sanctions that has been placed on them during the time of Mugabe, because Mugabe said, I'm not going to allow the white man to actually have their own way in my backyard? Is that because of that? Well, Ethiopia, army advances and Amara authorities are saying Niger asset president running low on food and the house arrest 2 weeks after coup. Well, if they want food for him, they can get lots of food for him. What about that? Lots more going to be coming your way from there. It's all Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In other stories, you can lobby Mahama for running mate position. Julius Deborah is saying, who is going to be the best person to be the running mate of the NDC flag bearer in the person of John Mahama? It's a question on the lips of most people. Now, 2022 budget failed to address fiscal policy concerns. Bank of Ghana on losses. Well. Interestingly, though they face losses, they say they're building a new edifice to house them, because where the Bank of Ghana edifice is on an earthquake-prone zone. How long has it been there? When have we? Oh my word! I bet you this ploy to get some people to make some money. We are putting up a new edifice, and therefore, how much is it going to be? I learned this is getting to the neighborhood about $250 million. Is that it? Wonderful. Well. By the time they are moving stuff from the old one to the new one, how much is it going to cost them as well? Well, it's all Starr Radio UK. Some of you, Adeyemi, good morning to you. I hope you are doing very, very, very well as well. We appreciate you joining us. We've not suspended women organizer in Kumawu, Ashanti NDC, is saying, and please mourns one of its beloved horses. Okay, a PH Cobra Queen mother. Okay, well, the police are mourning. At least we have people who mourn dogs and cats. This time the police are also mourning their horse. It's a good one, so why not? Okay, in other parts of the world as well. Now, at least 36 people have been killed as wildfires rages in Hawaii. Thousands of people have evacuated their homes, and a state of emergency has been declared there as well. And then in other stories making the rounds this morning, Ecuador presidential candidate had been shot dead at a rally. This information coming through. Anti-corruption campaigner Fernando Villavicencio is assassinated after an event in the capital, Quito. It's a sad one there. It's a sad one there. We were talking behind the scenes, discussing things behind the scenes, and I was talking about the fact that if you dare stand up to authorities, the system, okay, in Africa, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in those third world countries where you say that I'm going to stand up, I'm going to fight against the corruption and those who are doing the one-term destruction of the nation, scarface and stuff like that. I bet you they come after you. And this one person who was of that view, and they've come after him, they've shot him dead. Well. It is All Star Radio UK. Robbie Robertson, leader of the band, dies age 80. The band toured with Bob Dylan before becoming one of the most influential acts of the late 1960s. Well, he is also passed on. UN concern for Nigeria's ousted president's health. The post President Mohamed Bazoum's party has also claimed that he is being detained under cruel conditions. And what is a cruel condition? Well. Starr Radio UK. Halifax joins rivals in cutting mortgage rates. The UK biggest mortgage lender will sharply reduce rates as the market shows signs of slowing. Okay, so we see what happens and how mortgages is going to be. I mean, it's going to help. It's going to help mortgage payers, right? Okay. Now, hospital waiting lists topped 7.5 million in England. Nearly 1 in 7 of the population is waiting as NHS bosses cite impact of strikes by doctors. A Wilco collapse putting 12,000 jobs at risk. The high street homeware retailer has been unable to find a rescue for its 400 stores. Wilco is one of the stores that have been shopping when it comes to homeware. But now, a police told to hunt down Oxford Street culprits. The kind of lawlessness seen in some US cities must not be allowed here, the Home Secretary says. So they're going to be coming down on them like a ton of bricks. This is all coming away from Starr Radio, okay? 2 doors down crater. Simon Kaleo has died 8:48. BBC bosses pay tribute to the comedy writer who helped create a popular BBC One series. It's all coming away from Starr Radio. And British former Olympian students and mom off to space. All right, they will have a few minutes of weightlessness on the Virgin Galactic flight. All right, I told my producer that it's one of my missions. I pay 10 million and I'll fly to space. Okay, yes, that would be great, wouldn't it? Well, somebody said, why don't you give that money to the community in your village or some town somewhere to give them a good hospital health care? What about that? Well. It's All Starr Radio, okay? We're going to take a musical break, and once we come back, we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in. This is a powerful praise from Shadrach Mensah Shaboboyi. Okay? Enjoy.
Come on, you just can't sit down. Come on, activate your faith. You just had to preach. Look at your neighbor, tell your neighbor, activate your faith and activate your praise.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Come on, I didn't come here to be gentle. How many of you know that the joy of the Lord is the only thing that activates strength? If you know, give the Lord.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to praise? Actually. That's right. Everybody, come on. Clap your hands, all you people. Everybody. Come on. One more yes, you will say yeah. Somebody shout. Listen, the glory, the glory of the Lord is coming down.
Well, that is one live performance there from Shadrach Mensah, Shabo Boy. Giving thanks and praise to the Almighty God for whatever He has done for us. And I'm so grateful to God because I say it all the time. As we saw on this platform, Nigeria has not happened to any one of us, and we are still doing very, very well. And thank you very much for joining us this morning on Starr Radio UK, which will have Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining us in the next few moments to bring us details of all the updates that we have for you. Well, we can't leave Niger. Crisis to Tinubu, ECOWAS, foreign government, Sanusi Lamido is saying, and then cooking gas price to rise next week, says marketers. How much more can Nigerians take? NJ Cool Tinubu meets Muslim clerics, sends ulama to engage Chiani after Sanusi's visit. It is All Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Are you ready to I can hear you praise.
Starr Radio UK. Well, so when it comes to some of the stories we're going to be looking at from Nigeria, there are ones, as Ocean said, endangers biasa communities. Well, there's a problem there, isn't it? It's all going to be coming your way. More details from it. Constitution review. NAS will be fair to all. Senate assures promoters of Tiga Gari states. But how come that we don't have a constitutional review for the whole of the country? Yes, the constitution. Is this one for the states or for what? But I'll be telling you more about all that. That's one of the stories making the rounds. I remember back in the day when during Buhari's time, and then when those in the southeast and the southwest were saying there needed to be some reforms or the constitution should be reviewed, well, he said, you know what? Take it to the Senate or the House of Representatives, because they knew that they have majority there, and therefore there is no way that they will win. Advocates will win for the review to take place. But while Starr Radio UK, unfortunately we can't see Yomi's face, so let's see whether we can do our best to try to see his face. Okay, a bit of a rap there. Everybody, oh, Shadrach Mensah. Shabo boy. Aya. Shabo boy, Ibo. Even Lord and Okay, let's take a quick break. Still I can't see Yomi. I don't know why. Still I can't see.
In your car, at work, at home, on your smartphone.
Okay, yes, I can see him now. But let's take a quick break, and once we come back, I will bring you Mr. Olayomi Koiki, the White Lion himself, who is going to bring you all the details that you need to know.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 9 minutes past the top of the hour. And well, I have my colleague and co-presenter Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Interestingly, he's got behind him some nice cartoons there, but he will tell you more about all that. He wakes up in the morning, go to look for some cartoons, put behind him, say, well, this is what is going on. Yomi, good morning to you.
Well, a very good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the world, and welcome once again to the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And like you did say, it is the 10th day of the month of August 2023, and we are back again where we continue from yesterday and where we continue from during the week. But it is the Thursday edition, and there's still a lot to discuss when it comes to the West Africa part of the world.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm Archie here in the South studios. How are you? How is the family? And how was your night as well?
Well, it was a pleasant one. I think the weather is a little bit much more better than the last couple of days. I know it was raining from the beginning of the week. It was quite a little bit humid yesterday, but when the temperature goes down, you're likely to get a better wind flying through the house, especially if you live in an environment where the council continue to make sure that planting trees and keeping them tidy will also bring in the fresh air into the house.
Well, that's what we do here. But when we go to Ghana or Nigeria, we see they are cutting down every tree, cutting it down like no man's business. But well, yesterday we had a very, very lovely program on the Niger Voices. Well, we did talk about abuse and using children as trafficking agents and stuff like that. But Yomi had a very good time, and we had that of the ECOWAS as well, the Nigerian coup, and as whether ECOWAS is going to attack or not. But the cartoon behind him speaks volumes, and therefore we'll go to him so that it just brings you sneak view of what was discussed yesterday on the Niger Voices. Over to you, Yomi.
Yesterday, we looked into why, after so many years of government, in Africa, but mostly in Nigeria, while we still have many women being killed, and we talked about what can be done. Is this a society situation that many people refuse to speak out, especially knowing those behind these atrocities, violence against women and girls in Nigeria is still very high, because the reason why I said so, while I was looking at the statistics up to last night, by the time we were leaving the program, it seems that one more person have also been killed also in Gombe State, and this has got to do with the atrocity that we talked about, violence against women. What more can be done? We look back into what the previous government, Muhammadu Buhari did, while he was in office. Much was not done, but it seems that we'll have to wait to see what is the commitment of this new government going to be doing, to end, these, crises that has now become one of the biggest problem in Africa. Going back again, we talked about, when women are not, supported by the husband, and the husband end up killing such a woman. The reason for that is, the woman that died on Sunday wanted to collect what we call the upkeep of the children from the husband, but the husband decided to smash the head against the wall, and she ended up dying. If we have a system in place, as we do know, many countries around the world, deduct automatically, even if you're a self-employed or a businessman, money will be deducted straight away from your account to enable the wife to take care of the upkeep of the children. But it seems that because we do not have a society, we do not have a system that works. So eventually the woman visited, they're not living together, she visited the husband, and like we say, one thing led to something, and the husband, smashed the head over against the wall, and that led to the death of these women. And the question again is, what is the role of our local government? We've talked about local government in Nigeria, but it seems that 774 local government, yet none of them are up to the task of protecting, safeguarding as many people. And let me just give you more of what we have in terms of other headline. A drunk father kills a 2-year-old daughter is another one coming up, in Adamawa. Again, safeguarding of children, safeguarding of women, safeguarding of girls, is a big problem. A father of 6 identified as Ayuba Dambaki has been arrested by the operatives in Adamawa State Command for allegedly killing his 2-year-old daughter. Again, let's look at some of the other headline, linking such a story that we talked about. 25-year-old man has been arrested for raping a 15-year-old girl more than 2 times. This actually again took place in Nigeria. On Wednesday in Gombe State, command displayed 14 suspected offenders who have been detained for varieties of offenses, including rape, robbery, and also homicide, amongst others. But one particular one that interests us is Mohaz Mohammed, a 25-year-old from Gimdi Boho village, was detained after being accused of twice raping a 15-year-old girl. I'm going to take the last one and come back again to you in the studio. These were part of our discussion yesterday on the Starr Radio UK network when we were looking at that. We also looked at the update from the Niger and the Nigeria situation. And the last one is Bauchi police have arrested 3 suspects over lynching of a constable. You talked about, situation Nigeria can never be one, as a lot of us looked at it, that is it too big to manage? Because I was actually looking at, one commentator saying you could decide to live in New York if the law is okay with you. And if you think the law is not working for you, you could just move to California or you could move around. But it seems that what we got in 1960 has actually been destroyed by the military, which Bola Tinubu is trying to rectify now with Niger to make sure that constitutional order was put in place. Remember that in 1983, Buhari also did the same thing by overthrowing a civilian government. He came back after so many years, after things seems to have been dozed down. But again, Buhari, the former president, could not resolve as many of the violence against women and girls. But it seems we have to see what are in plans by the new government when the minister are fully in operation. Starr Radio UK.
Wow, listeners, lots discussions that is there, but two points on that one. First of all, the ECOWAS, the Nigerian situation. Why has Buhari not been sent as a delegate there to go and meet them? Because he was saying that, look, if you cause trouble for me now, you ask me questions, Nigerians were going to come and fight with you or something of the sort. That means that he had a good rapport with them. Why hasn't he been part of the delegation there?
Well, that's a big question, because we know the relationship that the former president have. We know that he's also from that side because his father is from the J. But like we say, looking at what some of the commentators have been saying, that it seems that 55% of those living in the J is Hausa. It's almost the same like saying those living in Benin Republic, 55% of them are Yorubas. But it seems during the the colonial era and the empire, everyone was cutting whatever they could take out, and it seems Niger, from some, was cut off from what is known as Nigeria today. Yes, Buhari have not been able to attend any visit to Niger to those of the tension, but we can confirm that yesterday we saw the images of the former Emir Sanusi Lamido visiting that region. I was able to listen back to what he was saying, after we see if we can get the snip of that in just about a few minutes. When he returned back from Niger, he went to the president, Bola Tinubu, at the Aso Rock. What was discussed, he's not going to tell us, but what he said was he went there on his own, not on the government, as a government, but he went actually to see how they can put the situation. We get a snip of the audio, but let me come back again to you in the studio, as today will determine another day whether there will be a resolution that will come in place when it comes to the Niger situation, as we continue to monitor it from here as well, as many countries around the world are also monitoring the current situation as well.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. That's some of the pictures of Sanusi on his visit to Niger. To see some the military the military in power there. Okay, let me put it that way. But Yomi, before we come to the story that is making the rounds, just once we were talking about the domestic violence yesterday and the discussions and everything, I was asking myself, how robust is the social services in Nigeria at all? How robust is it?
Well, it seems some states are doing their best, and we'll probably pick Lagos State, making headway when it comes to social service and, these kind of issues. I remember my younger sister traveled back in 2010, spent 2 years. Part of what they wanted to put in place, safeguarding policies, but as frustration as it could be, she returned back to UK. Because it seems that then was Babajide Sanwo-Olu. It seems they were not as much interested in safeguarding. It looks like Lagos State, due to a lot of NGOs, a lot of pressure, because we see so many other cases happening as well in Lagos State. It seems that Lagos State probably is the only state that I could say that has a couple of systems in place. Not that the other states do not have it, but when it comes to the local government, is as zero as working. And we have 191 local government in the southwest. In total, we have 774 local government, but none of those local government are working in terms of full operation when it comes to safeguarding and also protecting, the minor and the children in our community.
That's a sad one. We hope that one day, whilst we do all the discussions, some people will take to their behest and make sure that they see to the implementation of safeguarding the vulnerable in our communities. It doesn't matter whether they are Christians, whether they are Muslims, or they are traditionalists or whatever. No, every life matters. Every single life matters. All right, then, Starr Radio UK. Now let's come to today's issue that we are looking at. The UNAU ECOWAS meet on next move and NSCIA. Now we were trying to get Sanusi's comment or statement that he made after visiting the presidency, but have you been able to get that? And when is that meeting going to be taking place today? Because they said they were going to have the meeting today, Thursday. Well, after Sunday, the threat of invading Niger has not materialized.
Well, we'll have to wait, for when that is going to happen. Nobody knows what time that is. It's just almost the same time as we are in UK with Nigeria, but we do have to wait a little bit much to see when that ECOWAS meeting. As I speak to you right now, I can't see anything from the government and from Abuja, but we are waiting to see what is going to be the outcome. But yes, before we see if we can get the audio, we're still working on that. Let me give you a bit of the what we know from the government when it comes to Sanusi visit yesterday. We know that he has actually said, I've traveled down there, on my own, not from the government, but was there any luck in his own discussion, to bring the situation under control? Because what everybody is trying to avoid is to see if we can bring this to closure as much as possible, so that there will not be any bloodshed in Africa, knowing fully well that we have a lot of Hausas, a lot of Nigerians, a lot of Yorubas. The Igbos have been protesting. Even I've been hearing some Yorubas saying it seems that we need to be very, very careful with the situation on the ground. As I said, bear with us. We're trying to see if we can quickly give you, because it was a breaking news when Sanusi sneaked into the Aso Rock and then sneak out. He was actually captured and he did talk to the press, but the question is, would whatever he has brought in will make any difference? As I speak to you right now, some few hours ago as well, Muslim ulama headed to Neymar after meeting with President Tinubu. So it seems that more people are being sent to that region to dose off the tension, and I think we have the audio of Sanusi. Let's get that audio out for you.
Is that what you discussed with Mr. President ahead of ECOWAS meeting tomorrow, sir? Yes. Then, sir,
I can't tell you what I discussed with the president.
We saw you earlier in Niger today. Is that what you discussed with Mr. President ahead of ECOWAS meeting tomorrow, sir?
Yes, I came to brief him on the details of my discussion with the leaders of the of Niger.
Would you say your intervention was positive, successful?
Interventions are ongoing, and we'll continue to do our best to bring the two parties together to improve understanding. This is a time for public diplomacy. It's not a matter that we leave to governments all Nigerians, all Nigerians need to be involved to find a solution that works for Africa, a solution that works for Niger, that works for Nigeria, and a solution that works for humanity.
There are also reports that you took this initiative by yourself and you're not the government delegation.
No, I'm not the government. I'm not. Okay. I was not sent by the government. Okay. The government was, as government officials were aware I was going, but it was my personal initiative using my personal contacts to get there, and I will continue to do my best. It is my duty as a leader to do that.
And let's hear now from the ulama that visited the Aso Rock as well yesterday. Let's see if we can get the audio. And in the picture next to me is the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm not sure if this comes with any audio. It seems that the audio was muted. Maybe they don't want us to see or hear what they were discussing in Aso Rock. We know such happened. I remember during the military, every time there's always a voiceover. We never know what they're discussing. But now it's like many Nigerians now realize that whatever was discussed was not a real discussion in Aso Rock. But it sees that, on my screen here, the ulama would now be headed as well to Niger. So it seems that, it seems Bola Tinubu probably maybe has toned down. I will be telling you what, a jury, the spokesman for Bola Tinubu on media and publicity was telling the international community in just about a few minutes. But let me come back again to you in the studio, as it is still all about the Niger crisis that is still on the table as we speak right now. And the concern is, would there be an attack, or would this be pull off? If not, then what is going to be the outcome this morning when the ECOWAS are all going to be meeting in Abuja again? As we know, Nigeria is the chairman of ECOWAS, but the question is, what more can be done to reverse this? Let me quickly bring the a jury in Gelali, part of what he said on the international media yesterday.
And you're joining us live from the Nigerian capital, Abuja. Thank you for being on the program with us. Look, ECOWAS set a deadline to restore constitutional order in Niger. That deadline passed almost 48 hours ago and nothing has happened. Does ECOWAS now have a credibility problem?
Frankly, that account is untrue. There have been moves to the effect that based on the consensus resolution passed by ECOWAS member heads of state at the last ECOWAS extraordinary meeting. On that authority, the chairman of ECOWAS and the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has approved the issuance of a fresh slate of sanctions to be issued through the Central Bank of Nigeria on entities and individuals associated with the military junta.
Well, I'll leave it there. I'll come back again to you, Mr. Archie. You can see now that they are not just waiting for any further thing or more action, bank account, anything that could link those in charge of those junta is now from Anjuri. Anjuri was appointed during Buhari. He has also been appointed again back, as Bola Tinubu believes that he will be the one that can do the bidding on his behalf, especially when it comes to the international media. But we hope these kind of individuals will be able to speak to us, because they are just speaking to those they want to speak to, because they will not listen to us when we ask them to come and speak to us, because they know the kind of questions we're going to throw to them. Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me return back again to you in the studio at exactly 29 minutes past 11 this morning.
Yes, listeners, Starr Radio UK. Updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki on North London Studios. I'm actually here in the South Studios. Now, let me digress a bit. Now, looking at the issues, with the stance that Tinubu is taking, his stance when it comes to leading the ECOWAS, with what is happening in Niger, his appointment, which we were going to talk about, that El Rufai said that he's going to be turning down the appointment, he's no more interested in it and all that stuff. Do you think that if it is too late for the tribunal, election tribunal, to now come and rule and say there should be a rerun? Because if it was something that's going to be done, they shouldn't allow so much water to pass under the bridge. Now it's like they've gone so far, Tinubu is put a lot of things, measures in place, trying to do all sorts. Are we now going to say, let's have a rerun? That's digressing a bit though, but brainstorming. What do you think?
I was monitoring Peter Obi yesterday, and again, as we know, there is still the hope that the judges will come out as quickly as possible and give us a date, to the closure of the Presidential Election Tribunal that has been concluded when it comes to their presentation, their evidence. It seems now everyone is just waiting patiently. No date has been given yet. And the question you ask is, yes, we know that according to the INEC so far, Bola Tinubu is the president, and whatever he's doing right now is doing it under, the constitution that he actually took over from, Buhari on the May 29th. So until anything comes out from the election tribunal, Tinubu has, the right to do what he can do based on the constitution. But the question is, if the election tribunal comes back out, and we don't know yet, we're just speculating, will there be a rerun? That would literally mean that whatever Tinubu is doing will be put on hold while the rerun will have to go ahead. It seems from other perspectives that Tinubu is trying to push towards the war so that whenever the war goes ahead, that means that, whatever is coming out from the election tribunal will still be put on hold while he's dealing with that. Again, if the election tribunal comes back and say, well, Tinubu is the winner, what happened to Atiku and Peter Obi? Are they going to accept their fate? And Atiku has been contesting as far back as I know since 1993. Is he going to now, maybe go back again to Dubai, rework it out? Is Peter Obi going to be accepting his fate? What about their listeners, their followers, from those that believe that the election was rigged for Bola Tinubu? There's still a lot at stake as we speak right now, but it seems that we'll have to wait a little bit much more further for us to see the outcome from the election tribunal.
Okay, listeners, Starr Radio UK. If you're listening to us, do you think that maybe now we just have to forget about the election tribunal? Everything seems to be so much, and Tinubu is doing so much so far. Let me put it this way: so far, so good, trying to put things together. So maybe we let things go, and then maybe another 4 years time, but whether the others think it or not. What do you think? Should we just let sleeping dogs lie? And then let's move on as a nation. But interestingly, we have his ministerial appointment, which 3 people were not approved because they were saying that they were going through some security screening and stuff like that. So El-Rufai to turn down Tinubu's ministerial position, even if Ribadu relaxes hold on security clearance. So is he no more interested in saying that, well, why didn't you allow me in the first place? Are you now going, I'm not more interested? Is that what is happening?
Well, there's been a tension between, Bola Tinubu and El-Rufai, behind closed door. We know that. But it seems now that El-Rufai might probably look and decide whether he still wants to be a minister under this particular government. From what we were told, he would have loved to have, the chief of staff. But it seems Bola Tinubu will not trust that with El-Rufai. Rather, he will trust that with his own ethnic, as we know, with ethnic card is being played in Nigeria. So Bola Tinubu decided to give that to Gbajabiamila rather than El-Rufai. But the headline coming this morning is indicating that El-Rufai might turn down whatever is coming from this ministerial position, even if Ribadu relaxes hold on security clearance. The former governor now intends to show Nigerian public that there were no justifiable grounds for the outcome of his security assessment to be placed on hold. Nestor El-Rufai is all but guaranteed to excuse himself from the presidential Bola Tinubu Federal Executive Council. Could that mean that, if this happened, that means that the chances of 2027, should everything still goes in accordance with Bola Tinubu, maybe El-Rufai might be then working against the party or probably moving away from the party. We know that Wike was a PDP man, but yet was working against the party. I'm not sure why they've not expelled him, because he has even got a ministerial position right now. And he also say, well, that is how politics works. And this is why many Nigerians are wondering, are these individuals loyal? Why is El-Rufai under this security, check? We know that as the former governor, said he was incensed by the hold on his senatorial endorsement that appeared to cast a pall on his security status. Is it somebody that Dr. Malafia was talking about? We don't have any evidence to that, but we know that there is a lot of many southern Kaduna citizens that were killed under his ball as a chief security officer. But from findings, Mr. Rufai has not publicly announced intention to abandon yet, but he might be considering that according to the information. What is he going to mean to Bola Tinubu as one of his northerners that says it in Hausa that no Christian will be allowed to become the governor of Kaduna State while he's still alive?
Well, listeners, it is Star Radio UK 11:35. Let me take one other story and then we'll come back to Yomi for the rest of the stories making the rounds this morning. And this time pertains to Emefiele. Now, Emefiele is still in the courts. Now, Lagos suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has asked Federal High Court sitting in Lagos to stop the federal government through the Department of State Services from further prosecuting him. Emefiele arraigned on July 25th by the DSS over alleged illegal possession of firearms was, however, admitted to bail and ordered to be remanded in prison custody, but was rearrested by the DSS. In a fresh application before the Justice Nicholas Owebo, Emefiele, through his lawyers led by Mr. Joseph Daudu San, is seeking an order of the court discharging him of all charges brought against him by the DSS, arguing that it was in a brazen disobedience of the subsisting orders of the court granting him bail in July 25, 2023. Now, I took this story on because I was looking at the case of Nnamdi Kanu, where he was also cleared of all charges. DSS says, you know what? We still have you. We still want to have you. Now,
maybe it would be nice for Emefiele to have intervened at the time when Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer were doing everything to get him out, and the DSS, he was still under the former president, thinking that Buhari will now come to his aid. It looks like Buhari and Tinubu, especially on the issue of Emefiele, are still going to fall apart, because remember that Buhari was trying to get a soft landing for Emefiele, but it seems that Tinubu is thinking, we're not going to give him a soft landing. He needs to answer the question. And what we are seeing right now, again, is an institution that is not respected by, all party. You talked about, the kidnapping, the rendition of Nnamdi Kanu, from Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya, but it seems that, everything was thrown into the mud by the institution. He was discharged, acquitted, but yet, it seems that, as someone say, Buhari is a sadist, that wanted to just keep Nnamdi Kanu, because he's angry for whatever must have happened between the Southeast and the North, in the past. We saw how he was, taken down from Twitter, and how he responded harshly on Twitter by removing Twitter out of Nigeria. That so many Nigerians are now getting paid from some of their content on Twitter. Imagine 6 months Nigerians were off Twitter. America talked about it, UK talked about it, but he couldn't care less. So now that power has changed over, Emefiele is now facing what the ordinary Nigerians are facing. My Dr. Olayomi house was attacked. It was stopped in Benin Republic. Embargo is still on him. 2 years down, and Emefiele maybe was just beaten. But the question is Emefiele going to speak out to exactly what we don't know, and they fall apart between this government and the past government? Or are we just saying a game? Because most of what is happening in Africa is a game. It might just be for the public consumption, and Emefiele is just sitting somewhere in an air condition. We don't know. We talked about Abba Kyari. A request was made by the United States of America for extradition, but it seems that the northerner bidded on his behalf, just as they couldn't bid for the Nnamdi Kanu's case, because we know that Nnamdi Kanu was sold by some of those from those and those of some of the governors and senators. But today, Emefiele is just facing what the ordinary Nigerians are facing, and again, institutions are not respected in Nigeria.
Well, if the institutions are not respecting the law, then what kind of democracy are we practicing? Because when it comes to democracy, it's the rule of law. Everybody respecting the law, and nobody is above the law. But what do we see? What do you want to know? It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station.
Pastor says they are very unserious with the court proceeding where they have many thieves and rogues. What do you expect?
He summed it up nicely there. Anthony Adedeji, good morning to you once again. But let's go to Yomi for the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. As we look back into some of the headline at 40 minutes past, what is going to be the conclusion as more Muslim clerics are sent to Niger just to bring the situation under control? Are we going to see the back down of the junta, or are we just seeing paparazzi moving from point A to B? We saw the northern governors visited Tinubu. We are now seeing more Muslims being sent to that region. And again, it seems that bringing a lasting solution to the problem is what this government is looking for. We'll have to wait and see. Let's take some of the other cool, headline as well. Niger coupists form new government, ignore Nigerian sanction. While Nigeria is still trying to find a solution, it seems that Niger is just setting up their new government and hopefully see who they can work with around the world. The military leaders announced this on national TV today, 2 weeks after toppling President Mohamed Bazoum in a coup. Though the coup has been condemned globally, with ECOWAS announcing sanctions and threatening to invade the country, the border is still closed. We talked about $2 billion rail project is now at stake. Many Nigerians are even concerned. I can't authenticate it, but there's the audio and the images that were sent out by attack by countries, I think Burkina Faso, to Nigerians. Also, there was a young woman, a woman that spoke out yesterday from Libya, saying that Bola Tinubu is pushing his luck because most Nigerians that are living in some African countries are now worried that there could be, the punching bag in those countries, especially Libya, where many Nigerians are living. Also, those that are traveling have been asked to consider such traveling at this very difficult time, especially as Nigeria is not getting good images around the world already. Mostly in African countries, we've seen, the attack on Nigerians in South Africa. So it seems already that whatever is going to happen, Bola Tinubu is also putting Nigerians outside the country, especially the diaspora, in a line of danger as well. So we hope all these will be resolved, and what the solution will be, we will have to tell you when we get it again. Let's go straight to some other headline that we have. Niger PDP government knocked Tinubu call for military intervention. We know that the PDP is the opposition. We're not getting much from Peter Obi. But what do we know from the PDP? The People's Democratic Party governors have cautioned President Bola Tinubu against embarking on any military intervention in Niger Republic over the coup that led to the removal of the President Mohamed Bazoum. According to report, the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum and governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, disclosed this while reading the communique of the meeting of the governors elected under the party attended by his presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and so many stakeholders. He said the meeting advised President, Commander-in-Chief, and government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria not to go into any form of war with the Republic of Niger over the recent military coup in the country. Rather, all tools of dialogue and diplomacy should be further employed. So we wait and see if, again, this will be what Tinubu is going to do as against a military intervention. There is a lot at stake when it comes to both countries, but it seems that that is being teared apart, and you can see those are the images of the PDP that met yesterday with the communique that has already been out in the public domain. So we're going to move straight to the social media because of the time constraint this morning. Once again, remember to follow us on the Starr Radio UK Twitter, and also Twitter seems to be where Nigerians are bashing it back to back. Let's go straight with the first one here, coming from the Prime Minister government in exile of the Biafra, Simon Ekpa. Please, those of you who read from the page of the illegitimate son should tell him to go to court in Finland and stop disturbing our peace on Twitter. I don't know there's peace on Twitter, but it seems that I, Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of Biafra Republic Government in exile, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu disciple, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu spiritual son, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu spokesperson, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu special activist, and finally an advocate for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu through civil disobedience and other means. All these titles and more, please name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I will use it anyhow, and I want until he is released. So it seems that the 2 weeks is almost completing from the southeast state where the lockdown continue, as we say. Let's go straight to some of the other news trending on the social media this morning. And it seems El Rufai is trending at about 24,000. We talked about El Rufai. Justice for Abala. Let's say because justice is what we always want, but we know that there's never justice. What do we know about this individual? I'm not going to bring the image out. It's a little bit sad one, but I can give you the background of why he's trending this morning. Justice for Abala, a secondary school student. Abala, writing his SSCE, senior secondary certificate examination, was falsely accused of stealing iPhone 7 of their neighbor Shuaibu Wabian Sumbo, a staff of Adamawa State Scholarship Board. A group of men identified as Operation Faratu picked the boy from their home, tortured him mercilessly till he answered that he stole the phone to spare his life. Later brought home unconscious, and his parents take him to Madibo Adamawa University Teaching Hospital, where he remains unconscious for 4 days. And as we say, may Nigeria never happen to us. He died yesterday morning, 9th of August 2023. It was later found that the phone was taken by somebody else, not even Abdallah. The culprit are trying to cover up the case. We urge the authority to investigate and prosecute whoever involved in Abdallah. And you can tell again, as many of these happening in Nigeria, regardless of whether you are in the northern part, in the southeast. And again, this is why this is now trending across the social media, as many people are asking, what could have been done? Torture or ask question or investigate? I remember that even Peter Obi's phone was stolen in the court. I'm not sure if anybody was beaten for such. But again, you can tell that Nigeria, as some of us say, is just as a zoological as most of us think. We talked about violence against men and women. Again, violence against men and boys does happen as well in Nigeria. So very sad one there, and we can only pray for these individuals. Let's take one more again, or two. $1,000 naira to $1 as of this morning, and it seems that many businesses might fold up as quickly as possible. So the dollar is trending at about 107,000. But before we go into the dollar, let's take one again from Simon Ekpa Akparawa. At Akparawa, this Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, real voice and ratings. Any day I reject Biafra, know that I am not the one talking. We see if we can get that voice out. But for now, dollar seems to be trending at 48 minutes past 11 this morning. Many Nigerians are asking, how did we get to where we can't even get access to dollar? Maybe we should ask why the late Sani Abacha decided to pull about $5 billion of Nigerian money out of Nigeria. Ademola at Ogbeni Demola, black ignorance is a $1 billion industry. Okay, Neferati, a supporter of Peter Obi, stated there, how much will the dollar be by Christmas? As we know, the dollar is now moving to 1,000 naira this morning. And one more from there again. Nigeria is a terrible place for entrepreneur. This is coming from Dami at Ajebo Dami. Nigeria is a terrible place for entrepreneur. At this point, rent has increased, electricity has increased, fuel has increased, dollar increased, customer have reduced because the increment are also affecting them. How does an entrepreneur survive with a question mark? And let's take the audio from Simon Ekpa Parawa.
My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of indigenous people of Biafra all over this world. Wherever you see IPOB, I lead them. I command the 17 commanders of the armies of Biafra, a combination of Southeast and the South-South, for those unfortunate enough to be educated in the backwardness that is the Slovakian Republic. I command all the armies of Biafra. I said all of them. So do I direct Radio Biafra. By the very special grace of Chukwu Okike Abiyama Bonyanyinefe in heaven, I will serve you diligently and honestly. Any day I get up from my bed and the first thing I think about is not to worship heaven, not to restore the dignity of my country. That day let me perish.
Well, that day let it perish, but it seems that some people are pushing the narrative that Nnamdi Kanu is giving some order from DSS custody, even though we know that there's no way you could have got pen and pencil into the DSS where Nnamdi Kanu is. And that is why some are saying, let him get out of Nigeria, and then if he says no more sit at home, the Biafra will take that. So it seems that Simon Ekpa is still putting Biafra under lock and key. I'll come back again to you in the studio as we also remind many one of us that injustice to one is always injustice to all. May the soul of Abdullah rest in peace.
It's a very sad one with that Abdullah issue, because if they are saying that he nicked a phone, and which he didn't, and instant justice has gone on, and that what has happened is very, very sad. Very, very sad there. But one other issue that is bothering me is if Buhari arrested Nnamdi Kanu illegally, doing all sorts to get him there, and it was because of his hatred for them, then why has Tinubu not done something about it or said something about it now? Whilst we have the northern elders saying, keep him there, don't release him. Why? What are they scared of? But well, we know the same thing. We were expecting that by this time we would have heard something from Tinubu's camp once again pertaining to Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho's embargo on him, so that we know whether he can even come into the country, which I've said time and time and over that I will never advise him to come there. I don't trust those people. I don't trust them at all. But we've not had anything of the sort. But Yomi, what do you think about all that they are saying there?
I think you can see the move when it comes to Niger. The Muslims Brotherhood are moving swiftly. They are pushing pressure on Tinubu not to attack Niger. We know that Benin Republic played a very good role by not releasing Dr. Oloyi Sunday Igboho back to President Muhammadu Buhari, the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We know that there's been engagement between Bola Tinubu and Talon, but we don't know what has been discussed when it comes to Dr. Oloyi Igboho. We know that the Southeast governors are making a little bit of effort when it comes to the push. So it seems every region, is just trying their best. But it seems that one region is saying, do not release Nnamdi Kanu. They have not said much on Igboho in terms of whether Igboho should be released, even though the noise out there now is Dr. Oloyi Sunday Igboho should be, the embargo on him should now be lifted so that he can continue his journey. We know that the order for that embargo was put by the former President Buhari under the DSS spokesperson Ufunaya. But the question is, how is Bola Tinubu going to look into all these crises, all this situation, so that we can have amicably peace in the land? The leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination, Professor Akintoye, tried to speak to Buhari, sent a almost 24-document letter. Buhari did not respond. Not letter has been sent to Tinubu. We are still waiting for communique from him. But the question is, we know that Tinubu stated that he's going to be a listening one, but Sowore doesn't believe that. Sowore thinks that a revolution will unseat Tinubu and will probably reset the country back to where everybody wants it.
If they bring revolution, they should remember they're going to bring ECOWAS to come against them. Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. We want to go on, we'll go on and on and on and on and on. But we'll have to now. Samsudin, good morning to you. I hope you are doing very, very well. We thank God Nigeria has not happened to you. But remember, tomorrow, Yomi is going to come back and bring you some more updates from Nigeria. Yomi, before you go.
Well, as you can see from that map there, Nigeria is the center when it comes to Benin, Burkina Faso, Togo, Ghana, Niger Republic, and any slight confrontation to Niger will trigger a lot of crises in the region, and we can see as much as we can hear, and we can feel it already. So let's hope whatever the communique comes out again tonight, we will be able to relay it back again to you all in the morning. I'll leave you in the good hand of Archie to take you through the rest of the program. I'll be back at 11 o'clock tomorrow. My name is Olayomi Koiki, Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Thank you very much, Yomi, and I will catch up later. Now, interestingly, if you are listening to us, what do you think should be the decision? Do you think that Tinubu, as the head of the ECOWAS at the moment, should just allow the military intervention to take place so that it reinstates the president or the democratically elected government of Niger, or they should just leave their people? It is their own. They are the ones who are bearing the brunt of whatever is going on in their economy, their hunger, their insecurity, and everything that they are going through. They are the ones virtually bearing the brunt of it. So they should be left alone. If they need help, they can call on us to help them. But do you think that there should be an invasion of Niger? And if that happens as well, does that mean that if anybody, any country, any leader of this in the sub-region is not doing their work very well, misbehaving, and then there is a coup d'etat, and the person is chucked out, now we're going to be having the ECOWAS being a reinstatement or a team or a body that seeks to reinstate government that have been overthrown. Is that what the ECOWAS is there for? Well. And again, looking at the map that Yomi put across, that if there be any crisis in Niger now, what do you think is going to be the repercussion pertaining to Burkina Faso, Benin, Togo, Ghana, Cameroon, and all that? What is going to happen there? Well. Let us have your take. But now, he was asking of the dollar question. He said the dollar, people are talking about the dollar. Where is the dollar going to be by Christmas? But the Zongo man has got the answer for you. He said 10 men shared $10. But it happened that one didn't get some. What happened? But they were all, $1 notes, so it's 10. So everybody should get some. But it looks like some people are hoarding the money. So where is it? Enjoy it, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
This is Starr Radio UK.
$10 and one man who gets. Hey, hey, hey. 10 men share $10 and one man who gets. It's a disgrace. Where is the dollar? Where is the dollar? Where is the dollar? bananas to give to monkey. Hey, hey, hey. Give gorilla bananas to give to monkey. You guys, you know go see banana, banana, you know go see banana. Monkey no go see banana, banana, you know go see banana. Where is the dollar? 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 You know go see banana, banana, you know go see banana. Monkey no go see.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. Of darkness.
So what did that
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Star Radio.
Welcome back to the program. It is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 6 minutes past the top of the hour, and therefore it's gone even past the time that I needed to open the lines for you. But let me do so by opening the lines for you. You can call us on 0208-133-2257 or 58 0208-133-2257 or 58 here in London. Now, if you happen to be elsewhere in the US, Canada, or the Caribbean area, there's a number that you need to just call, and it is 0017183032737 0017183032737. You can text or WhatsApp at 075-3966-1744, 075-3966-1744. Twitter handle is Star Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. All right then. So you can hop in, you can post your comments, you can do whatever you want to do. But now let me take you to other parts of the world. Let's look at what is happening there this afternoon. Oh yes. Okay, so in other parts of Africa as well, Niger, former Nigerian Emir of Kano missed the push test. Now, the visit of the former Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, comes a day before Regional ECOWAS Summit in Nigeria is taking place today. So we'll see what happens from there. And then some other stories making the rounds this morning. The Sudanese armed forces fire towards position held by the Rapid Support Forces in central Omdurman in a battle to cut off access to the area from their foes. Now, the situation remains worrying in Sudan, a country hit by conflict between the army and a rival military faction since April. On Tuesday, 8 August, the Sudanese army stepped up its efforts to advance into the capital, Khartoum, triggering some of the most violent clashes since the crisis began. Now, since Monday, witnesses have reported General Abdel Fattah el-Burhan's army has been carrying out air strikes and using heavy artillery with the aim of taking control of a bridge over the Nile, which the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces used to transport reinforcements and more munitions from two towns adjacent to the capital, Omdurman Bari. Okay, so that's what is happening there as well. But the Nigerians are celebrating their people because the military regime that emerged from a coup in Niger has formed a government according to a decree by the country's new strong man. So what is the point? What is the point? What is the point? But the future of ECOWAS is at stake, according to the president of Guinea-Bissau. Now, Guinea-Bissau's president, Umaru Sissoko Embalo, said on Wednesday that the existence of the Economic Community of West African States was at stake in Niger's crisis on the eve of a new summit of the organization on the military coup in Niamey. Now, Mr. Embalo told reporters that President Mohamed Bazoum, deposed by the Nigerian military, was the only legitimate one when he flew to Abuja, where ECOWAS is holding a summit on Thursday. Now, the only president we recognize is Bazoum. He is one of the people, is the one the people have chosen. He said, if you don't want a government or a president, sanction it through the ballot box. Coup must be banned, he added. Now, when we know that you take a typical example of the story that emerged from Ghana after a by-election and everything that was going on. People who were plotting, hatching a plot to actually oust the IGP because the by-election he brought personnel to the ground, and therefore people were not allowed to somehow do their things to rig the election that took place there. So he's saying that, you know what, the best way to do everything is by using the ballot box. When we know that ballot boxes come and they are stuffed up with already temp-printed votes, and all sorts do happen. So if they really want to do something as leaders, I think that they have to say that all our election institutions must sit up and make sure that they deliver on their duties, making sure that there are no underhand dealings or anything, and that when we say people are voting, they get a security that they need to vote, they vote free and fairly, and once that is done, then we can say, well, it's a free and fair thing. This is what the people have decided on, and therefore we have to do everything possible to protect them. But when we don't do that, and these people do whatever means, whatever thing that they do to entrench themselves in positions, and we say, well, because they've been overthrown, and because there was some sort of pseudo democracy, so election taking place, so well, we dare not touch them, then they should come again. They should come again. I think the ECOWAS is already gone. And that is what they are looking for. Well, listen to Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me bring you one other story, and then we'll move on to other parts of the world, because we are already default position pressed with time. Okay, so now let's take one other story before we take a break. Now, Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa on Wednesday told over 150,000 supporters in the capital of Harare they will be lost if they did not re-elect him at this month's 10th post. If Harare fails to vote ZANU-PF, you will be lost, the 80-year-old strongman said as he addressed a rally for his party ZANU-PF near the city center. Now, no one will stop us from ruling this country, he said at the party's first major rally in the capital. Zimbabwe's votes on August 23rd to elect the president and legislature in what analysts expect to be a tense affair amid a crackdown on decent and disaffected population battling hyperinflation, poverty, and high unemployment. The suspicions of a possible elections irregularities arrive in a nation that have been ruled by the same party since independence in 1980 and has a long history of disputed votes. Now, over 100 buses were organized to ferry people from different provinces for the occasion. Supporters were given lunch packs and party regalia at the venue. Wow. So he says, if you don't vote me into power, you are all doomed. It's like Trump saying that, you know what, if I lose the election, he said, how would I even feel if I lose the election to sleepy old Joe Biden? And he lost, and he said, no, I've not lost the election, no, I won the election, and we see all that is arising from that. Would there be that kind of free and fair election in Zimbabwe come the 23rd of August, the next 13 days? That is a big question, and we know definitely that it's not going to be free and fair. I mean, let me call a spade, okay? So if we're not going to be having a free and fair election, then what else do we do? So if some people now think, look, we are being entrenched, we are being pushed, we are being marginalized, and then get somebody to lead them and think that, well, we're not going to take those nonsense any longer. Do you say, okay, the sub-regional body should come after them, AU should come after them, and all those will come after them? How fair is that? Wow. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now we've got another 15 minutes to go, but stay tuned, don't you go away. Let me bring you some of the other stories. We'll take a break, in the next few moments. Now, wildfires are raging in Hawaii. At least 36 people have been killed. Flames sweep through Maui. At least 36 people have died as fast-moving wildfires tear through Hawaiian island of Maui, officials have said. The deaths in the city of Lahaina, the island main tourist destination, came as strong winds from a distant hurricane fanned the flames. The fire is one of several ongoing blazes that have burnt entire neighborhoods to the ground. Now, thousands of people have been forced to evacuate their homes, and a state of emergency has been declared. A huge search and rescue operation is underway, with some people still unaccounted for. We barely made it out in time. Kamuela Kawuka, one of the who fled to an evacuation shelter on Tuesday with his partner and 6-year-old son, told Associated Press. It was so hard to sit there and just watch my town burn to ashes and not to be able to do anything, he said. I was helpless. A rather sad story there. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. That is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, in Ecuador, candidate in Ecuador's presidential election, Fernando Villavicencio, has been shot dead. A candidate in Ecuador's fourth campaign presidential election who campaigned against corruption and gangs has been shot dead at a campaign rally. Fernando Villavicencio, a member of the country's National Assembly, was attacked as he left the event in the capital, Quito, on Wednesday. He's one of the few candidates to allege links between organized crime and government officials in Ecuador. Okay, we'll take a commercial break and I'll be with you. Stay tuned and don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Okay, listen to Starr Radio UK. Yeah, we've got the next 12 minutes to run up the program. So, wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Yes. This afternoon is going to be lots of music. We call it more music and less talk. And then I will be bringing you a repeat broadcast of BB Clement's show, BB Means Business, as we did run it on Tuesday. And then, keeping fingers and everything crossed, we might get a KB Bossman also coming away with the Property Hour show. But then, rest assured of one thing, tomorrow, God willing, if we are alive and Nigeria has not happened to us, we'll be back here with Mr. Olayomi Koiki once again, bringing you everything that you need to know pertaining to what is happening in your area and across the globe. All right, but now let's quickly move on to some of the other stories making the rounds across the globe in the next, it's going to be a very fast one in the next, 6 or 7 minutes. Let's see whether we'll be able to do that. A journalist has been held in China says she misses sunshine. Interesting. There's something that you need to talk about. Is that what you have to talk about? An Australian journalist held in detention in China for 3 years as of this weekend has spoken publicly for the first time. In a quote, she said, "I miss the sun. In my cell, the sunlight shines through the window, but I can stand in it for only 10 hours a year. 10 hours a year." Now, Chen Lei said in an open letter to the people of Australia, dictated to diplomats who are able to speak to her each month. "I can't believe I used to avoid the sun when I was living back in Australia. It's probably rain the first 2 weeks. I'm back in Melbourne. I haven't seen a tree in 3 years, she said. The finance reporter was working for China's state media English language television station CGTN when she was picked up, spending her first 6 months of detention in solitary confinement without charge. In March last year, Ms. Chen was tried in secret and has been waiting for a year and 4 months to be sentenced. Now, Australia's ambassador to China, Graham Fletcher, tried unsuccessfully to get entry to the court to witness proceedings. Even her family is not aware of what she is accused of. Other than that, it is said to involve passing a state secret. In China, what constitutes a state secret is a very vague concept and can involve anything which the government deems to be sensitive. It is all coming away from Starr Radio UK. So, what state secret is that? Interesting. But now, let us come to the UK and let us run up the program soon. Now, the NHS waiting list has risen to 7.5 million. The waiting list for hospital treatment has topped 7.5 million people in England for the first time. It means nearly 1 in 7 of the population is on NHS waiting list for routine treatment, including hip and knee operation. The number hit 7.57 million at the end of June, up by 100,000 on the month before. NHS England said its strike action had an impact. Junior doctors walked out for 3 days during June. That led to the cancellation of more than 100,000 appointments. Starr Radio UK. Are you one of the culprits there? And what are you going to be doing next? Well, I've got one interesting story, but I'm going to bring it out as the latter one. Now, Waco, the high street homeware retailer, has collapsed into administration, putting 12,000 jobs at risk. The chain has been unable to find emergency investment to save its 400 shops across the UK. Now, Waco had been working to find a rescuer for the business, which has been trading since 1930. The firm's boss, Mark Jackson, said management had left no stone unturned in its attempt to save the company. But we must concede that with regret, with no choice but to take the difficult decision to enter into administration, he said. If a firm fails to buy any of the shops or part of the businesses out of administration, Wilco's risks becoming the biggest high street casualty this year. Who is ready to buy it? And the question is, the workforce. When now people can do all their business online. Interesting. Well, now Oxford Street disorder. Zola Braverman wants corporates to be hunted down. That's a big one, a strong one. Now those responsible for the disorder seen in London Oxford Street area should be hunted down and locked up, Home Secretary Zola Braverman has said. We cannot allow this kind of lawlessness in some American cities to come to the streets of the UK, Ms. Braverman said on X. Now on Wednesday, Baton Welding police clashed with dozens of people while officers on horseback dispersed crowds. The Metropolitan Police said 9 arrests were made. The force said it had handed out 34 dispersal order, which enabled police to exclude people from the area. A wider Section 35 dispersal order covering a large area of the West End is in effect until 07 hours BST on Friday. Now, trouble broke out after social media videos urged people to turn up and cause disruption on Oxford Street. For what? Mrs. Braverman added that the police have my full backing to do whatever necessary to ensure public order. Those responsible must be hunted down and locked up. I expect nothing less from the Metropolitan Police and have requested a full incident report. There was a large police presence in Oxford Street on Wednesday afternoon with mounted officers and police vans on the road and other side streets as well. Young people gathered in groups, mixing with tourists and shoppers, with some filming or looking on the news. Some shops on Oxford Street and Regent Street closed their barriers as attempts were made to get inside. At those that stayed open, security guards stood at the entrances deciding who could go in. Inside Oxford Circus tube station, officers were stopping young men at the ticket barrier to speak to them. Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, had urged people who had seen the videos on social media not to go to Oxford Street, saying, do not allow yourself to be sucked into an area that could be a high crime area. Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. I don't know the brain behind all that. Go and meet and do what? The final story, and then I bring the program to a close for today. Now, Halifax is set to sharply cut rates on some of its fixed mortgage deals, potentially easing pressure on some homeowners. The UK's biggest mortgage lender will reduce rates by up to 0.71 percentage points from Friday, with a 5-year fixed deal price at 5.39 from 6.10. Other lenders such as HSBC, Nationwide and TSB have cut some rates. Now, mortgage costs have risen as the Bank of England has pushed up interest rates in a bid to tame soaring prices. Halifax will cut rates across a range of products, with smaller reductions on 2-year fixed deals and some aimed at first-time buyers. Listeners, this is where we bring the program to a close for today. I'll be back with you tomorrow, God willing, with the Friday edition of the morning show. Hopefully, we might get our money man who is back in town now, and we'll be bringing you the money hour. But on that note, let me say, have a top of the day. It's been a pleasure coming your way. It's been me, your one and only Archie, saying bye-bye for now. But enjoy this song from Ejebia, and it says crazy times. Those are the times that we are living in. How or what do you think? Enjoy.
You've done it again.
Alright, 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 alright.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Tougher situations down, it's looking like we've hit an all-time low. But there's plenty time to grow. See, these are crazy times, I know. But hold on with me, just stay. We don't have to let up, oh no. The sun will surely come out. We will be alright, alright, alright. We will be alright. Odds have been against you, but you dare to keep on going. Every day is a blessing, life is for living. You've got this fast and strong, and you bring the